Peter Obi, speaking to the Obedient family, he was asked about corruption allegations leveled against him, especially when it comes to how he invested the Anambra people's money when he served as the governor of the state. So Peter Obi cleared the air on this.
Your Excellency, we know you're extremely popular. I'm talking global level popular. Yet there have been misconceptions about you and your political platform. For instance, considerable discussion regarding your financial dealings have come up, specifically allegations that you invested Anambra dollars in Fidelity Bank and even in your brewery. There have been allegations that you profited from these investments. Could you please clarify these claims and provide your perspective on this matter?
Okay, thank you very much. Two things. One is that first is that no Nigerian, today we're talking about debt in Nigeria. No Nigerian governor ever that I know, maybe there is, that have been able to save $1. $1. Nigeria itself, you heard what the international financial institutions have said about our reserve. That our reserve doesn't even exist. And we're owing $47 billion today. So I want us to start from that premises. And there was no law that compelled Peter Obi to save. No law. In fact, if you go and read my 3 points why I was impeached within 6 months of being in government, it was about all the things I'm talking today. And it is important that I always repeat it for people to know. I was impeached for 3 items and thrown out of office. Item number 1 was my own office. There's an approved budget when I won the case in court against Dr. Chris Ngige to become governor. There was an approved budget to refurbish my office at the cost of 298 million. I did everything with 43,200,000. That was item number 1, why I was impeached. Item number 2 was, again, refurbishing of the governor's lodge. These 2 office and lodge were burnt because there was an disagreement between Dr. Chris Ngige and some other groups. And they burned these 2 offices. So there was no governor's office, there was no governor's lodge there. I became governor. So, but there was a approved budget to renovate the office and the lodge. That of the lodge was 486 million. 486 million. I did everything with 81 million. That was number 2 item why I was impeached. Number 3 item was that because I was saving money. I had gone to the House of Assembly and said, there's no way we'll consume whatever we get from statutory allocation. That this money being given to us comes from a diminishing asset called oil. And it is this money is not meant for us, it's also meant for future generation. So we should save some. So it is imperative that we save 5 to 10% of everything we were able to receive. And I can say that the day I left office, all monies that I received, state, local government and everything, was about between 550, 600 billion naira. And that I was able to save between 10 to 15% of this. the day I left office. And as at that day, I was not owing salary, pension, gratuity, any contract that had been executed, any supply that had been delivered, I was not owing any. Nothing. In salary, I have 2 months' salary kept for the incoming governor. I decided to invest Anambra State money, this saving, in 3 areas: Naira, cash, dollar, and investment. So if you see where I said I left 75 billion naira, which was the equivalent of $500 million then, you see there's a 25 billion naira, there's $150 million, because as at that time dollar was about 150, and there's 25 billion invested in different assets. For the naira component, which was where your question is, for the dollar component, which was where your question is, in the dollar component, we bought bonds. The bonds are specified with interest. For example, all of them was not invested in Fidelity Bank. And by the way, I do not own Fidelity Bank. Fidelity Bank is owned by, they have a total of 500 and something thousand shareholders. Because I passed through Fidelity Bank, owned their shares and was chairman, everybody said, it's your bank. No individual owns bank. So other people are involved. No bank in Nigeria that I know, maybe I'm wrong, that one single individual own more than 20%. Maybe there is. So I do not own Fidelity Bank. But that is by the way, that's a story for another day. I did not invest this money, $150 million, in Fidelity Bank. Access Bank of Nigeria, I invested about $50 million. And they're all in bonds. Those bonds, their yield were clearly indicated. Nobody, not me, not anybody, can benefit from those bonds, because their yield are clearly indicated. The next bank is Diamond Bank. Diamond Bank, again, the yield is indicated. It's about 7% or so. It's clear. It's documented. If you want, give me your details. I'll fax you the documents. You will see the yield are there. So it's not something, it's an open thing. Number 3 is Fidelity Bank. Again, in each of these is $50 million. And we have a law backing it, calling it Future Generation Fund. If those monies were kept today untouched, without adding 1 kobo, without adding $1 more, it would have been now about 270, call it between 270, 290, even up to $300,000. Imagine if Anambra State today had $300,000 million. Imagine if they have today $280 to $300 million at almost 1,200 per dollar. They will be sitting on 360-something billion naira. No other state has such. The idea was that we were saving money. I recall listening and reading with joy that Soludo signed with Afro-Exim Bank for them to support Anambra State, which is going to be a loan with $200 million. I recorded it with joy. And I asked myself, imagine if they didn't touch the one I saved, and it's about $300 million now, and Anambra is able to get additional $200 million, combine it, it'll be $500 million, because our target is that if they continue to save at the rate we were saving, by year 2030, Anambra would have had about $1 billion, and I will use 50% of it to support SMEs and unleash SMEs drive for exports. That's what happened, whether from China to Indonesia to Vietnam. It was a clear study when we started saving it, and we know where we're going. But that is the story for another day. So, my dear, I did not in any way benefit from it. I saved the money, and let me tell you what I usually tell people. When they were accusing me of that I saved the dollar and took the interest, and I said to them, I wish every leader in Nigeria since 1960 actually saved the capital and took the interest. The amount of money we would have had today, we wouldn't know what to do with it. Nigeria would have been sitting on trillions of dollars if people had actually taken the interest and saved the. But Nigeria is a place that, because it's a criminalized entity, when you do what other people are not doing, what they will be doing every day is to make sure that even that good you did is rubbished. Why will you do it? So instead of celebrating the fact that Peter Obi did not borrow money, Peter Obi did not do this, remember, they now tell you, oh, he didn't do anything. But I said, but I was number one in MDG. I was number one in education. I won the Bill Prize in health. I was number one in this. I was this and everything. So, look at what we were doing. I won certificate for building the best rural roads, which improved the farmers to bring this in. And if you come to the same Anambra State, you will see it and ask the people, they will tell you. Which is why in an election like it was last time, I can get 96%. Go to every school now, they will tell you wherever I pass. I was in a school in Imo State just on Thursday morning. The principal of that school told me, he said, I was in Mercy Girls in Umuoji when you visited us and gave us bus. And told the people that I visited their school at least 3 times. Mercy Girls was not a public school. It was a school owned by the Reverend Sisters. Yet he said I visited 3 times and gave them bus and computer. That's what I was doing in every school. But they will tell you, oh, Peter Obi did this. Oh, Peter Obi. But that money that I saved is there. Who else did so? Nobody. But they will gang up and say, oh, he profited in it. He invested it in brewery. In brewery, let me clarify it to you. The brewery today is owned by the biggest, the world biggest brewer. They own about 90-something% of the brewery. The entire entity put in Nigeria, which includes Rivers State government, Anambra State government, I think Osun State, don't even own up to, put together, don't even own up to 6%. So how could it have been my brewery? people talk, because you were busy attracting this, we had as a policy when I was in government, anybody that wants to come to Anambra State, any foreign entity, we will take 10% of his company as investment to support them. We will help them to build road to their facility. Today, that facility, in terms of tax, is number one in Anambra State. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about those who are doing distribution, those who are making a living from it. It is to say, oh, it belongs to Peter Obi. I can tell you, you can go and verify if in any way in the past, I left office 2014. Let me say, in the past 5 years, maybe when I was this is but from 2019, 18, 21, 22, 23, where there's any way that bill will pay Peter Obi 1 naira. 2019, 22, 2020, so you can go on and see it. So the people will say, oh, Peter Obi did this, Peter Obi did that. Because is a gang up of criminals. How do we stop this one person who is trying to preach and do the right thing? And that's why I'm asking people to stay on. We can solve this problem. We can make these people place better. So I did not benefit from the dollar investment. I didn't take the interest. I left it for future generation. That was why I needed to explain this to you. Because it would be as if everybody saved and my own was different. No, nobody saved $1. So it should be celebrated that how can this man save $150 million? And my state was not one of the big states that were receiving this thing. We were the least in terms of receipts. States that receive more. Imagine what it would have been if the 36 states were able to keep the dollars that are kept, and today is 300 times 36. It would have been over $10 billion, and the states are not owing. Imagine what the country would have been today.
Okay.
You know? And like I keep saying, nobody, no human being, no thief sees what he can steal and leave it. No thief. Not even in church. That's why if you go to church, even in Nigeria, they say, mind your phone, mind your bag. Because they know that even if the thief is in church, he will steal it. This is the money I can take and go away. But I left it. I left billions of naira and dollars. That dollar would have collected it. Even if people start chasing me for it, if I spent 10% of it, I would have settled those people and kept 135. Even when I was going, they wanted to pass a law for me to take 10% of it. I told them it's public money. It should be left there. Thank you.
Also, he was asked about his take on about the West pushing for a zero carbon emission, if that is to the detriment of economies like ours. Take a look at how Peter Obi responded to that.
Bearing in mind that Nigeria has not experienced the industrialization seen in the West, and knowing that our economy is driven by cottage industry and SMEs, is the push towards a zero carbon future by the West to the detriment of economies like ours?
Well, you know, I've answered a lot when I was campaigning and said, all this will be negotiated based on our need and our development. We can't just go along with the West that have had an development that we have not achieved, that have put their people out of poverty, that are below 5% unemployment, when we know that the resources or the avenues we need to do that still needs to be developed and will not be achieved if we go along with the agreement. But that needs to be something that we must bring to the table for people to see what we are doing. China and all this wasn't going along with them before. Today, they are doing very well and are beginning to be part of it because they could see the impact it's having on their own environment. We haven't reached there. We need to do something more. So for me, it would be something we need to be negotiating as we go along to be able to suit us, to be able to fight and improve our situation, which is non-critical. We cannot talk about people are hungry, and people need food, and people need job, and people need this. All this, as we do that, we'll be able to say, well, listen, we agree with what you're saying, but we need to do this in order to get this. We need to do this while managing what will still make our own environment and the global environment better. We have to also be able to do the things that will make us exist.
So guys, you can see that Peter Obi remains one unique leader. As you can see how unique Peter Obi is, as in this man is so different from a typical Nigerian politician who uses every opportunity they have, to steal the people's money. But you can see him, he had that opportunity even when they wanted to pass a law for him to be able to go home with some of the money that belongs to the people. He told them, no, it is public fund. We hardly see people like this. We know in this current administration, we've seen people who have corruption allegations hanging all over them, and they are given top positions in Nigerian government. Look at the person like Akpabio, who had issues before now. Look at him, he is the Senate president. You consider the ex-governor of Kano State, we know him, the dollar man, and all other allegations, around him. Today, he is the chairman of the APC party, that's the ruling party. Look at the man from Zamfara, the ex-governor of Zamfara, who had this allegation of corruption directly from the EFCC. Where is he today? He's the Minister of Defense. And you can go on to count, so many of them who do not even care about what Nigerians think about their personality. And people like this are being promoted daily. Even the current sitting president of Nigeria, we all know, the bullion van issue and all that, the way he makes his money in Lagos. Nobody is talking about all these things. Today he is the president of Nigeria. Nigeria is only the place, where no matter your past, with the help of INEC and the judiciary, you can just get to anywhere. No matter the kind of past you have, no matter the kind of life you've lived before now, you can always make your way to any position you want. But I think we should start thinking of, changing this system, as in, let's ensure we have people with credible character, in these sensitive positions, because directly or indirectly is impacting on the lives of the people. It's affecting us, we the people, the normal people. It's affecting us. So guys, you heard it from Mr. Peter Obi. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Thank you.